Welcome back. You're watching the CNBC TV 18 special. We're talking about that mega $4 billion Sun Pharma Ranbaxy merger deal with Dilip Shanghvi and Israel Makov of Sun Pharma. Let me also ask you about what happens from here on now as far as some of the opportunities that Ranbaxy has been looking at, things like Nexium, Diovan, Balsite. There have been concerns on sourcing of APIs. There have now been concerns on, or not concerns, but now with this transaction in the process of being concluded, whether or not you can actually look at shifting some of the production to your approved sites. Is that possible? Is that something that you're looking at this point in time? When can we actually expect any sort of monetization as far as these big blockbusters are concerned?
I mean, transfer of product from one site to another is mandated and regulated by a guidance. And Ranbaxy doesn't need to transfer the product to a site which is owned by them. They need to transfer the product to any approved site. So I do not fully know what have they done related to the products for which they have Para IV opportunities.
You have no update on that?
I have updates which are, as I consider, not fully complete.
Okay.
So, but I believe that management is working diligently to find a way to monetize these assets.
How quickly do you believe that we could perhaps see a conclusion of whatever dialogues that are on with Ranbaxy and API suppliers or other approved sites for something like Nexium, which goes off patent in May?
I know, but I think what you need to keep in mind is that for anybody to share a specific date with you when you don't have approval in hand would not be wise, because these are regulatory processes and final decision is taken by the regulator. So my belief is that the management is working diligently. They believe that they have ability to launch and maintain their exclusivity, but exact date, I think either Ranbaxy or the regulator only can.
Have they given you an update as far as the consent decree is concerned and where things currently stand as far as the consent decree is concerned?
Sure. We have an update, and that was part of the diligence process that we followed.
And things are moving along as per expectation?
That's what I do not know what is the expectation, but I think they have certain timelines and things are moving according to those.
So speaking of timelines and speaking of the fact that you are now going to set in place new compliance norms, so to speak, to clean up things at Ranbaxy, if I can use that word, how certain or confident are you feeling about being able to get back on track as far as meeting compliance and regulations are concerned, especially with the US FDA?
I think we will work very hard to get back into compliance. We've some experience in the past when we had consent decree at Caraco. We've brought back that facility in compliance. We had warning letter at our Cranberry facility. We've brought that facility back in compliance. What we are unhappy about is that that experience did not teach us how to stay out of difficulty, and we had problem at our Karkhadi facility. But I think we learned from every mistake that we make.
But given that experience, give me a broad indication of the kind of time that you think you will be able to turn things around as far as regulations are concerned.
So we could do that in 3 years in Caraco. I do not know the extent of the challenge in Ranbaxy facilities, but we believe that once we focus on this, once we establish a transparent relationship with the regulator, the process can be accelerated.
Mr. Makov, what's your own sense of how quickly you will be able to turn things around, given the experience that Sun has had, and of course, you being a veteran of the business?
First of all, you have to remember that we can go in only after closing.
Yeah.
So this is going to take a few months. Will give us some time to make some good planning and work together with them towards overcome the issues. we don't know. This is, you know, you are working with the FDA and you don't know what the timeline. I can give you that our own experience in Caracol is that we have done it before we do it before the timeline that we gave the FDA, so we were faster. And we hope to be faster here and quicker than the time, but you know, we are not prophets, you know, we cannot just tell you how many months or how many days it's going to take, but you know, there is a ceiling about 3 years, which is probably the max. So between the 3 years after closing and the closing, sometimes during this period we will get it over.
Fair enough. Since we are talking about legal and regulatory issues, let me also ask you if Daiichi has given you any sense of what they intend doing with the arbitration proceedings against the Singh brothers, the erstwhile promoters of Ranbaxy, the arbitration on in Singapore. Will that have any impact whatsoever in any fashion on this transaction?
No. I mean, we haven't discussed that issue with them.
Not been brought up at all?
No. I mean, we haven't discussed it with them.
Okay. You know, are you going to be spending more time in Delhi and Gurgaon now, Mr. Sanghvi?
No, I think over a period of time I've learned to manage businesses without being present on site. So I hope to be able to do that. Even for Ranbaxy.
And the question now is, you know, 47 manufacturing facilities across 5 different continents. Do you really need them? What do you intend doing with them? How many would you actually realistically need?
I mean, I think we will need time to respond, but I think focus would be creating centers of excellence. Focus would be on creating manufacturing infrastructure which is state of the art, but also in terms of cost we are able to manage the cost and remain competitive in the marketplace.
But do you really see the need to have as many as 47?
I think without going into specifics, say like even in Sun, we have a large number of facilities. So we are looking at what is the best step to manage our manufacturing footprint effectively. But we haven't taken any decision about any site. So we've created a group which is looking at our manufacturing footprint and what is the best place and way to manage. But some of these manufacturing sites are for specific country markets. So those sites will need to continue to operate, even though they may not have very large volume of business.
Other regulatory approvals that you will need before this deal actually closes, the Competition Commission of India, you will need to get their nod. A little over 9% will be the combined entity's market share, but do you have any concerns on any specific segments, for instance, where you feel that you may breach or be in violation?
I mean, I'm not really very familiar with the regulatory requirement of Competition Commission and how they look at market share and what is the basis on which they would have objection. But let's say if we had the same product range in the US, then we would not have any divestment to do, because I don't think that there is any product in which we have dominant market share.
Okay, so you're not particularly concerned at this point in time. Mr. Makhav, I want to ask you, because you've said that it will be healthier if Indian companies can initiate domestic consolidation, and it seems like you've certainly taken that route. But you're sitting on cash. 12, 24 months down the line, do you believe that you'll have the appetite for another one?
No, I didn't mean. I talk about consolidation in the industry. I was not talking about Sun taking additional consolidation steps.
But that could be a possibility, couldn't it?
Everything is a possibility. But right now we are focusing on Ranbaxy. We have a lot of work to do there, and this is what we intend to do. And just because we have cash, we are not going to buy companies, So, and when the time comes and we will find interesting opportunities which will fit our strategy and serve our strategy and will be economically, we will pursue it.
Obviously at this point in time, the first priority really is to understand Ranbaxy, understand the DNA of the company, understand what you're faced with as far as regulatory issues are concerned, which I'm sure the due diligence has done, hopefully has done all of that. But You know, in terms of addressing emerging markets, because that clearly is going to be a big part of the strategy behind this, or the rationale behind this particular transaction, give me a sense of what we can really expect as far as the emerging market push is concerned.
Look, in the emerging markets, you can do either buy companies, you know, in order to start, or you start a greenfield. Start a greenfield is not recommended. It takes long time in this competitive environment. It's almost not an option. So we established some presence in emerging markets. We have a small presence in emerging markets. Now with Ranbaxy we have larger presence there. We are also in new territories, but in certain territories we already have a critical mass. We have a number of countries where we have over $100 million sales in a country. You know, in these countries, $100 million sales is a sound base to start grow and serve even neighboring countries. So we have a number of countries like this. We have a number of countries where the combination is creating critical mass, which is not necessarily $100 million per country, but something smaller, but it's a good base to grow. So I think a major focus on growing our business in the fast-growing pharma market of the emerging markets.
Mr. Sanghvi, you know, I come back to one of the issues that we raised at the start of the interview, which has clouded this transaction in a sense, is this business of insider trading. We've seen what's happened with the Ranbaxy stock a week ahead of this transaction being announced, and the way that it's run up over 20% in the last 6 trading sessions. And of course then this business of the Sun subsidiary investing in Ranbaxy dating back to December. I don't know if the market regulator has reached out to you yet or not. There are reports suggesting that they have started some sort of a preliminary inquiry. What would your response be?
We haven't heard. Either Sun or Sun's banker have not heard from regulator. And we believe that Sun is in compliance. We also have concern about the run-up on the Ranbaxy stock a few days before the transaction was announced. But we hope that nothing comes out of that inquiry.
And as far as the stock, I know you've clarified that you will nullify the stock that was picked up by Silver Street in Ranbaxy. That decision stands?
That's correct. I think we will cancel those stocks once they get issued.
So has it been a bunch of sleepless nights, or you've been fine closing this $4 billion deal?
No, I slept easy, so that's not a problem.
Well, Dilip Sanghvi, it's been a pleasure. We wish you the very best of luck as you try and turn things around at Ranbaxy. Mr. Makov, appreciate you joining us here on CNBC TV 18. We wish the two of you the very best of luck.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you.
On that note, it's time for us to wrap up this CNBC TV 18 special. We'll see you again next week. Till then, from all of us here, goodbye. Many thanks for watching.